desert was quiet that day. Soft winds brushed across the sand, carrying the warm scent of the wilderness. For years, Moses had lived far from the life he once knew in Egypt. He had traded the noise of the palace for the gentle rhythm of shepherding. Each day was simple and predictable. Every morning, Moses rose early. He cared for the flock belonging to his father-in-law, Jethro. He guided them across rocky paths, searched for safe places to graze, and protected them through the heat of the day. It was a peaceful life, very different from the world he had once lived in. On this particular day, Moses led the sheep farther into the wilderness than usual, past familiar hills, past dry riverbeds, until he reached the far side of the desert. Ahead rose Mount Horeb, a tall, rugged mountain known as the Mountain of God. The air felt different near the mountain, still, heavy with silence. Moses didn't know why, but something made him slow his steps. Then he saw it. A bush stood ahead of him, and it was on fire. Flames wrapped around its branches, bright and alive, yet the bush itself was not burning up. The leaves stayed green, the branches stayed whole. No smoke rose into the sky. The fire burned, but nothing was destroyed. Moses stared in disbelief and stepped closer to understand this strange sight. Then a voice called out from the heart of the flames. God says, "Moses, Moses." Startled, Moses responded. Moses says, "Here I am." The voice continued. God says, "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Moses slowly removed his sandals, realizing he was standing in the presence of someone far greater than himself. God says, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Moses covered his face, afraid to look toward the fire. Then God spoke again with deep compassion. God says, "I have seen the misery of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries. I know their suffering." Moses listened, remembering the pain and injustice his people endured in Egypt. Then God revealed his plan. God says, "I have come down to rescue them and to bring them into a good and spacious land, a land flowing with milk and honey." Hope grew in Moses' heart for his people, but then God said something he did not expect. God says, "Now go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt." Moses stepped back, overwhelmed. Him? Return to Egypt, the place he fled? Moses says, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" God says, "I will be with you." Even with God's promise, Moses felt unsure. The mission seemed impossible, so he asked another question. Moses says, "If the people ask, 'What is his name?' what should I tell them?" God gave a powerful answer. God says, "Tell them, 'I am who I am.' Tell them, 'I am has sent me to you.'" The words echoed with eternal meaning. God was revealing he is everlasting, unchanging, and above all things. God continued speaking, giving Moses instructions and reassurance. God says, "Go and gather the elders of Israel. Tell them I have seen their suffering. They will listen to you, and I will bring my people out with a mighty hand." Moses stood silently, feeling the weight of God's presence and the magnitude of what he was being called to do. God then showed Moses signs he could use to prove God had sent him. He gave him words to speak. He promised that even if Pharaoh refused at first, God's power would overcome every obstacle. Throughout this holy moment, the fire continued to burn without consuming the bush. A flame unlike any Moses had ever seen, alive, powerful, yet gentle in its purpose. Moses listened as God prepared him for the journey ahead. The journey would be long. It would challenge him in every way. But God's voice remained steady and sure, promising that Moses would not walk alone. As the encounter came to an end, the flames still danced across the branches, glowing with holy fire. Moses looked at the bush one last time, knowing this moment had changed him forever. He had come with nothing but his staff and a flock of sheep. He would leave as a chosen leader, carrying a message from the living God. With new purpose in his heart and God's presence promised beside him, Moses turned from the mountain and began the long journey back to Egypt. A journey filled with miracles, plagues, signs, wonders, and the unfolding of God's plan to free his people. The shepherd was now a messenger, and the story of deliverance was about to begin.